my life revolved. I mean, I didn't set foot outside of my bed each morning until I'd had a cigarette. I needed that to almost like unclog my brain and for my brain to like kickstart. Now, whereas when I was smoking, in a morning it would probably take me 3 cups of coffee and half a dozen cigarettes. Because I mean, 40 a day, that's a lot to
Yes.
get in it, cigarettes to get fit. But I used to do it, I fitted them all in.
Hi everyone, this is Nasia Davos and welcome to this episode of Ask an Ex. The ex I have with me today joined our CBQ program and quit smoking 2 packs a day after 40 years, and she's here to tell you how she did it. Please welcome Valerie Bennett. Hi Val, thank you so much for being here.
Hello.
So, you have been a non-smoker for more than a year now, since 30th of
Yes,
April.
that's right. Yes, so 14 months now. Yes.
Congratulations, this is a huge achievement and a huge milestone.
Thank you. Yes, I'm very pleased with the progress I've made. Yes, very happy with it all.
It's incredible. So you smoked for 40 years, 2 packs a day. How did you
Yes.
start smoking?
I think it was after I'd left school. I was sort of 16, 17, and boyfriends and going to pubs and clubs. And at the time, everybody was smoking. So it was in a bus stop, I'll have a cigarette, I'll try one. And my dad had always smoked all my life. My mum never smoked, but my dad did. So it was quite a sort of normal, natural thing to do. Nobody thought it was wrong at the time. Nobody saw that it was bad, and everybody around me was a smoker. So it was like I was joining their club.
Yes, yes. And what happened that made you say, I'm going to quit smoking this time? I'm going to do it.
Well, it had kind of been on my mind for several months on and off. In my mind, then I was putting it to one side. I don't want to do this. I can't do this. I'm not strong enough. I'm not brave enough.
Mm.
Um, the excuses that we all use.
Yes.
And then I'd actually gone to a concert in Manchester with some friends, and we gone to see Take That, and we were on the floor seats. Great show. And at the end of the show, obviously when we left, we had to walk up the steps to
Mhm.
get out of the arena. So there's probably, I don't know, 60 steps, something like that. As I was starting to walk up the steps, the pain in the calves of my legs was unbelievable. I
Mm.
walked up about 8 steps, and then this pain just wiped me out, and I had to stop. I actually couldn't walk. And then to people 10, 20 years older than me were all walking past me trying to get out. I'm like blocking the aisle, and I'm trying to hang on to whatever and just climbing up 2 steps and then having to stop, and then 3 steps, then having to stop. It was the most awful, embarrassing experience of my life. When I got home, I thought, there's something clearly wrong, obviously. Um, and I knew deep down, I knew that it had to be connected with smoking. And I just thought, as well as like going to the doctors and getting it all checked out, which I did, and we know where we're up to with that, and it's things that are being sorted. And it is to do, obviously, primarily it is to do with smoking. It's intermittent claudication, they call it. So
Okay.
it's where, yeah, the blood isn't going through the muscles properly,
Uh,
and oxygen and things like that. So I thought, there and then I thought, right, that's enough. I'd already seen your program, so it had already been on my mind.
mm,
I'd already been on the website and I'd seen the adverts coming up and things like that. And I'd had a little look previously, but then this was kind of the icing on the cake was, that's enough now. I've got to do something. So that was when I did enroll for your program. I remember at the time thinking it is quite a chunk of money,
mhm.
to have to pay for it. Um, Looking back, I understand differently now that by committing to that amount of money for something showed a real commitment on my part that I
Yes.
was going to do it. Whereas other people, they think it's too expensive, that's not the way that it should be looked at, and I think once you're in that mindset that you're prepared to pay that money to go ahead and do something like that and to find out if it will work for you, which it did in my case wonderfully, then I think you've kind of you're 80% there by making that commitment to pay that amount of money anyway. And it's only money you would be smoking, so you might as well give up the cigarettes and roll on your course, see that by changing your mind and your attitude, and instead of thinking that something is your best friend and a crutch and you need that, and then actually realizing that you don't at all. It's the cigarettes that are causing you the problem, not the other way around, that they're helping you. Like we all want to think that cigarettes are fine. When we're stressed, we have a cigarette, but actually it's the cigarette that gives us the stress. So we're going around in a circle, we're just going around in a circle all the time. Sorry, I'm talking too much now. I'll shut up
I
again
love
because
that. But I love that. And you're saying wonderful things, and thank you so much. And you are absolutely right. It is an investment, and it should be seen that way. And you get what you pay for.
Correct, exactly. Yes.
And the money you
it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works. I mean, what have I saved? I mean, I think I mentioned to you, in the 14 months, it's over £7,000 that I haven't spent on cigarettes. I mean, it's an obscene amount of money, I mean, at the beginning, it was like, I can actually have a weekend away or a few days away every month for the amount I'm spending. I can actually use the money in far more enjoyable ways than smoking a cigarette and smelling of cigarettes, and also now feeling a bit like a leper that you can't travel on public transport, you can't have a cigarette, you can't go in, places that you used to be able to go to, bars, restaurants, you can't go in those places and have a cigarette anymore. And now I must admit, I think differently. I think I can go on different types of holidays when we're out of lockdown. If I want to go on a coach holiday, previously I would have thought to myself, oh, I'm not doing that because I can't have a cigarette. My life evolved around, I can't do that because I can't have a cigarette. What will I do? I will need a cigarette. I won't be able to manage because I can't have a cigarette. I would ask for hotel rooms and I would request that it be a smoking room because I couldn't manage in a hotel room without a cigarette. I want a cigarette. That's how desperate I was when I was for all the years. My life revolved. I mean, I didn't set foot outside of my bed each morning until I'd had a cigarette. I needed that to almost like unclog my brain and for my brain to like kickstart. Now, whereas when I was smoking, in the morning it would probably take me 3 cups of coffee and half a dozen cigarettes. Because I mean, 40 a day, that's a lot to get in it, cigarettes to get fit. But I used to do it. I fitted them all in, I know, crazy, isn't it? But it would take me 2 hours in the morning to come to wake up and thinking, coffee, cigarettes. I need another cigarette yet. No, I'll do it in a minute. I need another cigarette yet. I need another cup of coffee yet before I could kind of come to life. Well, I was thinking that those things were helping me to wake up and be mentally aware and alive, when in fact it's the other way round.
Yes.
So now I can get out of bed, I can get showered, washed, dressed, I'm up, I'm ready, I'm sorted, and I'm ready for action in 10 minutes.
Yes.
Whereas previously I'd be like, oh, put the kettle on, I need a cup of coffee, where's my cigarettes? And the thought, if I didn't have a packet of cigarettes in the morning there, oh my gosh, that would have been a severe panic attack if I didn't have any, or the fear that you would have that if you've got a cigarette but you've got no lighter to go with it, that you've got a cigarette there, and it's like, I've got no light, I can't light my cigarettes. I've lit my cigarettes by dipping them in a toaster to light them.
Gas on the kitchen.
Correct. We all do those things, don't we? Absolutely crazy, the things we did. I'm surprised I never set myself on fire, I mean, even little things like when you go to the dentist to have a tooth extraction and you get the piece of paper with the instructions, don't smoke for 24 hours. You must be joking. I was out of the dentist and I'd be having a cigarette in the car with my mouth still numb. That's how bad.
That's what addiction is.
Correct. That's right. It takes over your life. Everything revolves around it, but it's how easy it can change doing your courses that the mindset changes, and then you realize that actually, no, this isn't right. I can live without these things. I can do it. I lived without them before, and I can live without it again. And now I don't feel deprived. I'm not missing anything, But the key for me, part of the key was to not panic. When that wave comes over you that you think, I need a cigarette, just breathe. Just be calm. Just slow everything down. No matter what you're doing, just do the reverse of panicking. Just slow it all down and wait and breathe. Get a glass of water if you want one. Go for a little walk if you want, whatever suits you, but just slow it down. It passes, minute, 2 minutes, it's gone, And also, the other thing in my view is one day at a time.
Yes.
I found just by saying each day, I am not going to smoke today. I'm not worried about tomorrow or the next day or next week.
Or the rest of my life or forever.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's too much. That's too much. I can't deal with that.
Yeah.
But what I can deal with is today and now. And by waking up and going, I am not going to smoke today. And then as the day goes on and things might get a bit stressful, it's like, I'm not smoking today. So today's just that day that I'm not smoking at all. No matter what happens, I'm not smoking today. Tomorrow I'll deal with that. I'm not saying I'm not smoking forever. So by putting that in your mind, you're scaring yourself. It's like it's forbidden. And if something's forbidden, we actually want to do it, don't we? It's,
Yes.
But by going today, also, or just even by, I'm not going to smoke for this next hour, or I'm not going to smoke for 3 hours, whatever. Just set little chunks of time when you're not going to smoke. By doing that, suddenly you wake up the next day and it's, no, I'm not going to have a cigarette today. And that way it's more doable.
More manageable. Yeah.
Manageable.
Otherwise,
thank you. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's overwhelming otherwise. For most people. Yes, of course.
Yeah,
You're
because
right.
you're going to give up something that's been your friend for all those years. You've needed it. You've wanted it. It's been there by your side. It's helped you, so we say. But and I think almost there is a sense of grieving. You feel like you are losing something.
Yeah.
It's something that's been there for you no matter what. And you're now going, I don't need you anymore. Go away. Don't need you now. You're gone. And it is just about getting that mindset right and knowing that you can do it. I remember in the early days, I think every day I was proud of not smoking that day, like day 4, day 5. And I've met some friends and it was day 21. And I said to this one particular person, I said, I've been stopped smoking for 21 days today. And he went, is that all? 21 days? I thought you were going to say 2 years or something. And I went, we all have to start at day 1. I said, to get to 2 years, we have to do 21 days and we have to do however many days. And once he realised what he said, he was quite upset with what he'd said. He realised how bad it was. He was like, is that all? 21 days? That's not, to me, that was the world. It was like such an achievement. And now, occasionally, if I see him and I'll go, 12 months now, and he'll just laugh because it's kind of like a joke now, a joke now. But it was, I think, so the likeness I used was, I said, when the football teams, when they get to the World Cup finals, I said they've had to go through all those little minor rounds to get to that final. I said, I might be in just those little minor rounds at the moment, but I will get to that final because that's how I have to do it. And he was like, oh, right. Yes,
and this is true for everything in life. You cannot jump to the goal immediately. You have to go through the process. And being proud of yourself allowed you to stand up for yourself, because there are many people, that they mean well, but they are not really aware of what it takes to take it
Correct.
one step at a time and be free. And many ex-smokers get really discouraged when they hear a comment like that. It can really,
Totally.
really be bad. So yeah, that's a very
Yes,
good thing to say.
absolutely. When I stood there and I thought, what a really bad thing to say. I thought this, for somebody who was maybe of a little bit of a weaker mind or a bit, in a dodgy position, they could have just said, right, I'm going to go and have a cigarette since it's a
Yes.
waste of time. And I think the beauty of things like Facebook, and obviously groups like that, the support is there because we all know with each other what it's like. We are the same people. And that's why we are able to give that encouragement directly to each other, and without shame and without embarrassment. And it doesn't matter if somebody's had 3 cigarettes one day, tomorrow's another, start again. Start again. It doesn't matter. Just put that behind you and just go, when you wake up that morning, I am not smoking today. I will not have a cigarette today. I mean, if you want a sad story, because this is quite sad. Well, it's very sad. One of the reasons I think psychologically I couldn't give up, I didn't want to give up. 30 years ago, I had a son, and he died. It was a cot death. He was 6 weeks old.
I'm really
I've got a
sorry.
daughter. I've got a daughter. She's
Yeah.
fine. That's all right. Now, obviously, at the time, it's probably, I don't know how old you are, but it's probably you won't remember it. Some people, maybe who watch this or in this country, may remember it. There was a lady called Anne Diamond. She was a television interviewer, and she was on breakfast television and things like that. Now, she had a son called Sebastian. He died of cot death about a month, 6 weeks after me. So it became really big news. It was on the news for everything. Then it was, don't let your baby sleep this way. Don't let your baby sleep that way. Don't have them in the bed with you. Don't do this. Don't do that. It was everything that I had done wrong. Or not wrong, but it was everything that they were now saying to me. You did that.
Yeah.
Smoking. You did that. All these things were things that may or may not have contributed to what happened. Yeah. I can't beat myself up about it. Otherwise, I'd be a blubbering wreck. But I think for me hanging on to smoking was me saying, it's not my fault. This can't have been why this happened. So if I kept on smoking, then it couldn't be an enemy. That can't be the reason. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Maybe it does, I don't know. But it's like, it was a way of me going, I can't be guilty. If I'm still doing this now, then look, it's fine. It's perfectly okay to smoke. That can't have done any problem because I'm still doing it now.
It's a
So then for
defense
me to stop,
mechanism that helped you
yeah,
survive this, basically.
yeah.
This
So
pain.
then
Yeah.
for me to stop smoking meant I was admitting that was potentially a contributory factor.
That
So
is
it's taken
huge.
those years. But I think psychologically that is one of the reasons why we hang on to things, because it means something in other ways, that that we don't want to be guilty for something, or we don't want to blame something, or because a child or an adult, or because somebody died of cancer or whatever. It's not our fault. Look, I'm still smoking, so it can't be my fault. And I think for some people it's about coming to terms with those things as well, before you can actually let go of something that you've been hanging on to. Maybe I'm wrong, and I don't mean to have upset anybody,
Of course not. You shared your
but
experience, and thank you so much for sharing that. This is very personal, and your insight is very deep in this matter. How did you come to realize that? Did you always ignore it? Gradually came to you that, oh, this is why I did that.
I think, I think, I think deep down, I think you always know. I say at the time it was on the news literally all the time. It was said, don't have babies in smoky rooms. At the time, don't forget, this was late 80s. It was 1990. So it was perfectly okay. You could smoke on a bus, you could smoke on a cab, you could smoke in any building you wanted. It
Yes,
was fine.
a
Smoking
different
was
time. Yeah.
not, and yeah, exactly. It was a different time. And and then it was, don't have your baby in smoky rooms, and don't lie them on the back or the front, or whichever way round it was. And it was like everything that I had done, and it was like, I mean, the guilt was ridiculous, at the time. But it's still, still is probably. But then you've got to you realize that, well, these are the scientists and they are right. You know, my daughter, she's 33. My daughter, she's a doctor. She lives down in
Wow.
Bedford and in London and everything. Very clever and like, Mum, don't smoke. Mum, stop smoking. Mum, this, Mum, that. You know, Mum, I've got asthma because of you, Mum. You know,
This hurts.
because she's very, yeah, but she's true. She's right. You know, it's like, I wouldn't have had asthma if you hadn't have smoked. And it's like, okay. I mean, at the time when I gave birth to her, and I mean, other people maybe listening to this will remember, there was a smoking room in the maternity ward in the hospital. You know, in the ward, there was a smoking room where all these pregnant women that have gone into hospital for whatever reason, just before they're going to give birth, they're all in the smoking room having a cigarette. That's what it was back in the late 80s, early 90s. We all did it. It was like okay to do that, you know.
Of course.
We
But
know.
also, you know, all the tobacco companies went in great lengths to hide how smoking harms people.
Oh, absolutely, of course
Billions
they
of
did.
dollars, so much lobbying. Disgusting.
Yes, it is. It's so bad. It's, you know, they should just shut them all down, in my opinion. Just close them all down, be done with them, and that's it. End of story, you know. But now also, I'm really happy as well. I'm really happy I've stopped smoking because my daughter's having a baby now.
Oh, wow.
Which is lovely. So, yes, that's first grandchild. So it's due just after Christmas, just into the new year. So we're very early stages yet. But my daughter would have been one of these that if myself or if her dad had been smoking in this house, she would not bring her child to this house. You know, that's how anti things she is, you know. So now it's lovely because it's the fact that we'll be able to see this baby and nobody smokes, and it'll all be a totally smoke-free, harmless environment.
So
you
much
know,
freedom.
so absolutely. So
Yeah.
it's lovely, you know, really nice. And that's the other reason now for me to lose a little bit of weight as well, you know, so I can be a healthy granny. So yeah, and I'm glad I stopped when I stopped, because I think it's made a difference that if, Lord forbid, but if any of us catch corona, there's a greater chance we're going to survive, because I think as a smoker, I think there's much greater chance that you're going to be in trouble if you smoke and
That's
you
true.
catch. You know, I really, really believe that. So I think, to be honest, if any time was the right time to stop, then really now has to be the time.
Yes.
More than any other point. You know, I mean, this virus will floor you. And I think if you smoke and you've got an issue with your lungs anyway, don't think that it's too late. Why should I bother now?
Every day matters.
Every day that you stop, every day that you are stopped now is going to make a difference. That if you get yourself in trouble and you do get the virus, there will be a greater chance that you will survive, for the fact that you now don't smoke. And that's the way I see it.
And there is a lot of research that supports what you're saying. You have greater chance of recovering if you have quit smoking, even if you have recently quit smoking. And if you keep on smoking, you have greater chance of getting the virus and getting worse symptoms. So you're absolutely right about that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a very important point.
But best thing I've done in the last few years is to stop smoking. I wouldn't even consider having another one now at all.
Yes, and it's not just because of the health. The health is huge, of course. It's also about the freedom. It's living a better life. You were just saying a few moments ago how your life was when you were a smoker, having to organize your life around it, and how free you are now, and all the doors and opportunities.
You go to a theatre to watch a show, and it's how long? When's the interval? When's the interval? Because I want to go outside and have a cigarette. You know, everything revolves around, when can I have a cigarette? How can I have a cigarette? I'm not going there because I can't have one. You know, and it's like, how mad is that? That is just a crazy way that you have to be, because you're working everything around, when can I have a cigarette? I can't go there. I can't do that because I can't have a cigarette. Wow, how restricting. Whereas now, do what I want, when I want, go where I want, be how I want, and know that my clothes don't smell. Does my breath smell? You know, have another mint to try and
more confident, less self-conscious. All those things matter a lot. Yeah, absolutely.
put a bit of perfume on because you think you're disguising the smoke of the smell of the smoke. You know, we're not covering anything up, you know, but we think we're kidding ourselves that we're covering the smoke up. Have a mint because we think our breath will be lovely when you just had a packet of fags. You know, well, who'd want to kiss somebody now that smokes cigarettes?
True.
We don't do it. You know, no, we don't. So I do wish everybody that's, you know, that's going to give up in the future or just needs a bit of extra encouragement to give up, you know, do Nazia's course, believe that it can work because, well, it worked for me, you know. Believe that it can work, believe in yourself, be positive with yourself, get up each day and know that today is the day that you will not be smoking for today, you know. And then eventually you won't use that mantra because it won't be on your mind when you wake up. You know, it's not, cigarettes won't be the first thing that you think of. That point does come down the line. And also, the other one I liked is 84 days. It takes 84 days to break a habit.
Mm-hmm.
That's how long it is from stopping, from you sitting there and wanting to do the hand action. It actually can take 84 days before that brain hand thing stops. I worked up to 84 days. That was like my first target. It was like, you know, each day individually, but it was 84 days. I know the habit will be broken out of my head then. And then I knew that after that, it was going to get easier.
And did you find that to be true after 84
Yes.
days?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm not saying there weren't bad days because there were, but yeah, I mean, I would sit down and I'd have a cup of coffee, and at the beginning, my hand would go, woo. I'd go to that invisible, non-existent ashtray and go to pick a cigarette up, and it's not there. Or I'd go into my bag, or I'd go wherever. Have I got my I'd be driving the car. Where's my cigarettes? That would go on. But I think 84 days is the key to it, and that's when after that, the brain, there is no attachment then. There was no habit attachment after 84 days. And I trusted that information, and I got to 84 days, and that was like a real celebration for me. It was like, yes, 84 days, I got there, you know. But then it only takes 1 or 2 cigarettes to reinstigate that whole habit again. It's like the 84 days has gone.
I agree.
If you then have
exactly.
1 or 2, that's it. It's there. It takes your brain just an instant to reform that habit again, as though it's never lost it.
Yes,
Does that make sense? Is that right?
Of course, because once you feed the physical addiction, this triggers the mental addiction, and all the rewiring comes back. So yeah, it takes 1 to 2 cigarettes. That's true.
Yeah. So all that work you've done, and just you can break it, and then you actually have to redo all that work again, you know. So that's why there's no point having one just for the sake of having one and thinking it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does.
Because it does. It makes a big difference. Just having one is not good. You know.
Harder.
I know I can't have one. If I have one, within a week I'll be smoking 2 packs a day again, guaranteed.
Yes.
And I'm not doing that. You know, got a little baby, going to be a grandma. Can't do that, can we? So
fantastic. I want to ask you one last thing. What part of the program helped you the most?
I think it was quite sort of at the beginning, really. It was writing down every single cigarette that you had. That was like, oh my gosh, I'm writing down another one. Oh my gosh, I'm writing down another one. And why am I having one? And it was learning that it really was habit. It wasn't me wanting one. It was the habit of that I always had a cigarette, nearly always had one in my hand. And it was, you know, writing down again, like, why are you having this cigarette? And it was like, well, no reason whatsoever, really. It's like, and then thinking, oh, I'm having one because I've just had my dinner. It was like, oh, I've got a real proper reason now for having one, you know. And then starting to cut down each day. But I think I didn't even get that far more than a few days, because I actually got to the point where I went, that's it, I'm finished. At the end of one day, it was, I am not doing any more. You know, I could feel myself going less and less and less. It was like I was unwinding down, you know. But I don't want any more. It was almost like I was doing all this work, you know, and having to explain every single thing every single cigarette that I was smoking, every single thing that I was doing. And it's like, why am I doing this? So yeah, and I think, say the fact of the things that come up on Facebook and the things that you do on there, I think those are all really good, encouraging signs to know that, you know, that we are all doing the right thing. But I think it is just about getting your mind set and knowing that you're building up to it. Like, you know, learning to drive a car, you can't do it straight away. All these things, you can't do them straight away. You've got to build up to it, and you've got to get yourself ready, and you've got to rewire your brain somehow to know that what you've been doing isn't the best thing in the world for you. You know, move it forward, save yourself a whole chunk of money, get yourself healthier, feel better, smell better, buy yourself some nice things for you or your children or whatever, you know, and tell yourself that what you're doing is good, and don't beat yourself up about it. Be kind to yourself. Treat yourself.
Thank you so much, Val, for everything you shared and for being so open and sharing your experiences and your journey. It was really fun. I love having you here. And I'm sure,
Oh, thank you.
yes, we had a great time, and I'm sure everything you shared will help many others persevere and
I
succeed.
hope, yeah. I hope so. It's just, you know, keep going, keep trying. Don't give up. Keep trying. You will do it, you know. And use the CBQ. It's there for you. It works. You know, the other methods haven't worked. You've probably tried them over the years. You know, you use this method. It's, you know, it works without a doubt. It's worked for me. I mean, wow. And you know, I wasn't sure whether it would or it wouldn't, but the fact that sometimes you just got to do these things, you know, and it does work. So I hope anybody listening to this, if I haven't bored you to tears, you know, then just go for it, try it, do it. You know, we're on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. Find me on Facebook. Put me on CBQ. You know, if anybody wants to ask me anything, I'll tell you anything.
Oh, thank you so much for,
you know, give encouragement if people need it. Absolutely not a problem.
Thank you so much for sharing this, and we love having you in the group.
Thank you.
Pleasure. So if you're all watching this video right now, leave a comment below and let Val and I know what you're taking away from her journey that can help you in yours. And Val, thank you again so much. And thank you all for being here. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.